it occurred to me as I was driving home after our last class that you might not realize that most of what you see on a day-to-day basis. Now, hear me now, okay? This is going to come out a little bit coarse, all right? It's going to come out a little bit uncouth. Most of what you see on a day-to-day basis is ecological shit. Okay? What does that mean? Exactly. It's not really natural. Most of the landscapes we look at every day have been grossly affected by the presence of man or something that man has brought along with it. And, you know, anymore, I feel like I've become a real Debbie Downer. You know, I go on a family hike with my family, or if we go to the creek in the summertime. I'll give you this example. Every summer, we like to go to this one creek that's about 20 miles from our house. Man, me and my family, my wife and I get in there, and we got our two girls, both high school age, Taylor Swift fans. They got me to be in the Swiftie, and then my little boys in the back, and we're all riding to the creek, right? And it's a beautiful Saturday, and my little boy's excited to be fishing, and my girls are just kind of getting that age where they can kind of care less. They're sort of glad to be there, but they're really kind of rather be doing something else. And as we're driving, you know, here I am, a man about to be 46. I'm just grateful to have this experience with my family, to be going out into nature and experiencing it, you know, and swimming in a beautiful, clean creek, catching fish that, you know, you could build a fire and eat the fish like right there. I'm grateful that in that particular creek, the water's clean enough and fresh enough that we can enjoy it, because not everybody's got that, right? So in that drive, I start thinking about that. I'm like, man, could be worse. You know, we could be living in some of the creeks in Louisiana. They're so polluted with agricultural runoff, or so muddy and dirty, that you can't go and just get away in the summertime and enjoy a beautiful, crystal clear stream that's just so clean you can almost drink it, but not quite, because then you get Giardia, right? Well, then we're driving. And then, you know, I can't help it as I'm looking out the window along the drive to start seeing all the development along this one ridge line along the way between Dixon and Waverly, Tennessee. And I remember what it was like to drive that stretch of highway 20 years ago, when there were still wild looking fields on both sides of the road, and there were still scattered trees in the pastures, and the houses were wide apart. But now all the little fields are full of brand new houses, you know, and not just one, there's 10 houses here. Every little stretch has been cut up and subdivided. And it's like little cuts to my heart as I'm driving. And then I go by this one particular site where it's the only surviving remnant grassland in the whole region. And it's just 30 feet wide. I'll show it to you next class period when we get into grasslands. It's just 30 feet wide. It's sandwiched between the highway and this forest. And it seems like about every second or third time we go to the creek during the summertime, something's always happening to that little prairie strip. It's either been mowed when it shouldn't have been, or the highway department has come along and sprayed it with herbicide when they didn't need to, or there's a new driveway that's been built across it, right? So now you got this little bitty prairie strip, and it's intersected with 5 brand new driveways in just the past 20 years. And then the state highway department is mowing half of it. You know, it's only 30 feet wide, so they're mowing 15 feet. Then I go down a little bit further, and then all of a sudden I see invasive species that are really crowding out this one particular forest. And I go down a little bit farther, and I see something else and something else.